Hey, you don't need more motivation. You actually need a framework that'll help you execute even on those tough days. In this video, I'm going to walk you through a repeatable personal operating system that boosts productivity, strengthens your time management, and keeps your mindset steady under pressure. If that sounds like something you need to know more about, keep watching today's video. All right, guys, before we even get started, if you are a newbie, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button on this channel. I am working with ambitious women who are aspiring to design a life they love. I am doing that by teaching you how to become the CEO of you and then leveraging it at every turn in your design process so that you can get exactly what it is you want. The foundations that I give you will lead you on to become an amazing salesperson in your business, an amazing corporate climber if that is your goal, or an amazing contribution to your community. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button, click that notification bell so you don't miss an episode. I am in the process of getting locked in and leveling up, and I want you to join my community so we can do it together. Now let's get into today's video. If your goal from this video is to learn how to execute well, these are the steps that you need to take to do it. Step number one is to establish your personal framework. If you are an OG here, you know that your personal framework is the framework through which you look at life and you make moves. It is capitalizing on your strengths, mitigating your limitations, recognizing and keeping at the forefront your desires and what it is you want, and then making sure that everybody knows what your non-negotiables are. You know what your non-negotiables are, and you don't step on those landmines. That is your personal framework. So the very first step, if you want to execute well, is to set that up for yourself so that you know what you need to do and be your best. By identifying your personal framework, you are going to be able to set up the goals based on your strengths. And you will know exactly how to set up your life, where you need to be intentional. This personal framework gives you exactly that, a framework in order to live your best life. The next step is to recognize your triggers. Now, when it comes to your personal framework, you do have to be introspective. It is a process of becoming the CEO of you. I've recoined myself as the person who helps women with personal development and mastery, personal mastery, because I truly believe that that is the foundation for all success. When you know who you are, you know what your value is, then you will know how you want to share that value and with whom you want to share that value, and you will have confidence in sharing that value. So the first step is, again, that personal framework. And then next is, in the process of creating your personal framework, what you will recognize is your triggers, those things that cause you frustration, that irritate you, that take you off your game, that derail you. You will identify those in the process of creating your personal framework. So when you know what your triggers are, guess what? Now you can either avoid those triggers, you will know how to avoid them, or you will have a game plan or a plan of action to course correct whenever those triggers happen. So if you want to execute well, you have to know what your triggers are, how to mitigate them, how to minimize them, or how to avoid them altogether. And they really do mess up your plan. And you don't want triggers to be the reason, not being able to control your reactions to the triggers to be the reason that you don't design the life you want, that you don't achieve your goal. So you want to have a personal framework, and then you want to recognize and have a game plan for your triggers. Now, the next step that you need to do is to learn how to communicate clearly and effectively. And I have to say, let me just stop and say that I have been a victim. I have been guilty of not communicating well. And it's not because I didn't know what I wanted to say. I'm going to be quite honest, be very transparent with you. My programs and processes, my strategies, my BU method, it all came about from a personal experience. It came about because I went through the fire and I was able to get myself out and learn lessons that made me much better on the other side. So when I started teaching my BU method, it was coming from a place of personal experience. It wasn't until later that I began to surround myself with people and started to hear some of my very own concepts being spoken from those who had gone to school for some of the things that I train on: leadership, marketing, personal branding, executive, like CEO minded people. And what I realized is my personal lesson was a lot of the industry speak and the lingo that these people I was surrounding myself with was speaking was based off of someone else's personal experience. And so these concepts and ideas and definitions really did spin off from someone else having gone through the same thing. They just put very clear, very commonly used terminology to the names of some of the things that I was saying. So as I became more of an expert and I read more and I taught myself more and I got around people, I realized that I could speak industry speak and I could be more clear in my communication. I could be more effective in what it was I was trying to say. So here is not just a matter of saying what you mean and meaning what you say. It's also a matter of being an asset in the room because you've done your due diligence, you've learned the lessons, you've become the expert, you've educated yourself. And it's not just like me, my personal lingo, things that I created for my business, but it's now you can marry those terms with actual industry speak that is more clear, more readily understood, more digestible to those in the space, and you can be more effective in the way you communicate. You can be much more clear in the way you communicate. So my advice here is if you're not really sure about how to execute well, communicating clearly and effectively and efficiently could be your issue. So maybe it's time to level up by way of reading more, making a goal for yourself to read more industry books, to be around more people in your industry, to pick up on what they're saying, learn more, make yourself more of an expert so that when you start to communicate and speak in your space, you're very clear and you're very effective in what it is you're trying to say. Executing well is not just about what you do, but it's about how people experience you as well. So you want to make sure that you are doing your due diligence to communicate well and to be able to show your value with things that you say. The next step that I want you to take if you want to execute well is to take control of your time. Money is not the most important thing. I know that's hard to hear, but it's not. Time is your most important thing. We have a finite amount of time. So if we have a finite amount of time, it doesn't matter if there's money on the table when you run out of time. So if you want to get better and execute well, then you need to get a hold of your calendar. And I have a whole video on how to create a zero-sum calendar. I will link that down below because I think it is very important for you to spend all of your time on your calendar. I use a Google Calendar, and every minute of every day is spoken for on my calendar. And that helps me to manage my time. When someone wants me to do something, I know what pockets of time I have available to do those things, if I have pockets of time at all. But I know when I need to say no, and I know when I have the time to actually splurge and share with other people. But especially if you're in business, your time is your money, because the time that you're not doing revenue generating things is time that you are not generating revenue. And the time that you spend thinking that you're productive, quite honestly, I am a victim of this as well, or I am guilty of this as well, is the time that you think you're being productive, if it's not contributing to the revenue generating component of your business, it may not be what you should be doing, and it could be a waste of time. So the next step, this step right here, I think this is what the 4th step is to take charge of your time. This is going to help you decrease your stress, and it's also going to help increase productivity, but the right productivity. And you're going to work on more quality things, and the work that you do will be of greater quality. Now, the next thing that and time management also helps you with your self-discipline. So that is also important. Now, the next thing that I want you to do, this next step is very important, and it is to guard or monitor your bandwidth. A lot of times we string ourselves out. We do too many things. And we pride ourselves on the to-do list that is so long, and we were able to check it all off at the end of the day. I am learning to pick the top 3 things that I need to do to be successful that day and do it, making sure those 3 things get done. Okay? Because I only have so much bandwidth. I started waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning, being much more intentional, which means my body is ready to get somewhere and sit down about 7. By 8, my eyes are starting to droop. I get some tea after my shower. And by 10 o'clock, I am out, whether I want to be or not. If I am still, I am out. So I have to guard and monitor my bandwidth so that I'm not overextending myself. And here is one of those places. If you want to execute well, you have to learn how to say no with a period. That's all you need. No explanation. You don't need to raise your voice. There doesn't need to be a question mark behind it. No with a period helps you monitor and guard your bandwidth, and it also helps you take charge of your time. Now, these 5 steps that I just shared with you are designed. These are things that I do myself. These 5 steps will help you to execute much better the things that you are trying to do, because you have to, number 1, create that personal framework so you'll know what your strengths, limitations, desires, and non-negotiables are. That framework, walking through it, working through it, is going to help you make sure you are showing up as your best to do your best. And then when you recognize what your triggers are, you're minimizing or you're lowering the chances that you will be distracted, that you will be taken off guard, that you won't be derailed. You're lowering those chances so that you can actually be more productive, and you'll have the time now because you've taken charge of your time and your bandwidth. So you're doing the things that need to be done in the time it needs to be done. So executing well is the end result. That is what happens when you use these 5 steps. I promise you, you'll get much better results from what it is you're trying to do. Now, I get it. I understand. You're an ambitious woman. You are aspiring to build a life that you love, but you're feeling like it's a little bit time for a little bit of a level up. I get it. I was just there. If you go back and listen to my podcast, I talk about how my husband and I just got back from Italy, and how during that trip, there were a few lessons that I really did have an epiphany on, and they have really spurred this get locked in to level up attitude that I have. So I'm right there with you, right? So listen, here's what I want you to do. I am going to do a challenge, but I want to know what you need to be challenged on. Where are you struggling? Where do you need a community to come alongside you and lift you up and help you to really design the life you love? Be intentional with it. Be honest with yourself. Set the appropriate goals. Because honestly, like I said earlier, I love watching people in the 1% tell me what I need to do to get to the 1%. But it only lasts for a little bit before I get upset with the whole situation and mad that I'm sitting there watching a video, watching someone else have this amazing life that I want, and I'm not doing the things that I need to do. And they really don't relate to my situation, so their advice is not necessarily something that's going to be helpful to me. I would much rather someone say, hey girl, I'm on this climb as well, and I'm going to join you on this climb because I want to do it too. Let's do it together. That's where I am. And if that's where you are, definitely subscribe to my channel, but then also tell me below, what areas are you challenged in? Where do we need to come alongside you? Comment below and let me know, because I am creating a challenge that I am going to start very soon. My birthday is October 21st. I'm trying to have it ready before my birthday so that I can put it up and we can come together alongside one another challenge each other to get locked in and level up these last few weeks of 2025 so that come 2026, we have our stuff together. So stay locked and loaded, subscribe to my channel, and we are going to do this thing together. All right. If you're ready to execute well, get locked in so you can level up, please subscribe and join me back here again next week. All right. Bye, guys.